The Super Yeti got officially released in Clash of Clans 1 week ago. However, some of you might still remember that it got unintentionally released a little while ago where it was completely broken. In this video, we will take a look at how much worse the Super Yeti is now compared to the last time where it was released into the game due to a bug. With that, hello and welcome to yet another video. I hope you guys are doing great. And one thing we have to take into account, or one thing that is incredibly interesting, is that the stats of the Super Yeti haven't changed too much, to be quite honest. So the damage as well as the hit points from the Super Yeti as well as from the Super Yeti Might, or from the Electro Might, are still the exact same. Also, the housing space from the Super Yeti has not changed at all. However, what has changed is the amount of Electromites that a Super Yeti can spawn, because that has changed from 15 to 13. So lowered by 2, which doesn't seem too much, but it does make a difference in an attack. And also, what is the biggest factor is that the Electromites have got an increased housing space from 1 to 3. So you can just clone a third of the amount of Electromites that you used to clone when the Super Yeti was in the game with this bug, where you were just completely crushing every single base with Yeti Might clone. And now let's just take a look at how much less value you actually get from the Super Yeti, or well, from the Super Yeti clone spells. 250 Super Yeti clone blimp. So let's take a look at the first attack. I have a comparison where on the top side, you see how it is currently in the game. So this is in the current state of the game, and on the bottom side, you have the same attack on the exact same base, but when the Super Yeti was actually released in the game with the bug. So like a few months ago, I don't know the exact date, I will show the exact date here in this video, but you can just take a look at how much more value you get. Like on the bottom side, the Yeti Mites are still cloning, they're still popping up. And then the top side, I just got a few buildings with it. Still sufficient value to get the 3 stars. But that just has to do with how easy the game currently is in normal Clan Wars, in the normal mode, in Legends League. But you can see how much more those troops took out on the bottom side. And this is just the first attack. I will show a total of 3 attacks where we will take a look at how much worse actually the Super Yeti clone now is. And this is actually just the least devastating of the 3. The other 2 attacks will just really come to show how incredibly much less value you can get. So let's hop directly into the second attack. And let's take a look at the second attack. Once again, we have the exact same base. However, on the top side, we have single Inferno Towers. On the bottom side, we have multi-Inferno Towers. But hey, to be honest, that shouldn't make it quite a difference. Still, Blimp comes in from the 4 o'clock corner and manages to land into the core of the base, of course, on the top side. So in the current state of the game, we have a non-max Town Hall 17. So a Town Hall 17 account with low-level defenses, but still on the top side, we get less value from the blimp than on the bottom side. On the bottom side, once again, those Yeti Mites are still spawning. It was incredible. It was completely broken how many of those Electromites spawned. Like, they're still coming. They are still coming. There is no end to it. And all those defenses on the back end just went down. You can see the monolith on the bottom side has been taken out. The monolith on the top side is still doing work. So once again, it will still be a 3-star even in the current state of the game. I don't know if it would have been a 3-star if it were a max base in comparison to the levels Town Hall 16 defenses we have on the top side right now. It is so much closer in the current state of the game compared to the last attack, where it was just a complete overkill. And now let's take a look at yet another attack, and this is the most interesting attack in my opinion, because on the bottom side, before, when the Super Yeti was released due to the bug, I just got so incredibly much value with this blimp, and in the current state of the game, I get absolutely nothing. So you can see on the top side, I already got all the value which was able to get, and still on the bottom side, those Electromites are still cloning. They are taking out so much of the base. On the left hand side, the Fire Spitter as well as the Scatter Shot have been taken out. all Inferno Towers in the core of the base have been taken out, which isn't the case in the current state of the game, where still 2 of these Inferno Towers are left standing, as well as the Air Sweeper Poison Tower, and on the left hand side you can still see the Scatter Shot in combination with the Fire Spitter. So this is the exact attack that I tried to replicate. I got so much value before the update, well, before it was officially released, the Super Yeti. And this is the first attack that actually does not go through now with the Super Yeti, how it is currently in the game. Of course, probably the Super Yeti is still incredibly strong, and also the Super Yeti blimp is still incredibly strong. So if you want to try out this attack strategy, I still have the army linked in the description, and you can try it out yourself because it is a very fun attack strategy even after the update. Just the most important thing is you actually now have to clone the Super Yetis. So before the update, or well, when the bug occurred in the game, you just always wanted to try to clone the Electromites, because the Electromites were just cloning constantly without ever stopping. And now you actually are not cloning too many of these Electromites, so you want to clone the Super Yetis in order to get the most value out of it. And if you do that, you can still get a lot of value from it. However, you do have to note that Supercell announced that there is coming a rework for the Eternal Tome. So within the next update, we will get a rework for the Eternal Tome that will actually completely nerf or destroy these Yeti blimps. So these Yeti blimps you put for the Town Hall or any part of the base where you want to use the Eternal Tome to send the battle blimp across the map. This is now not possible because everything that is leaving the aura, so the aura from the Grand Warden, Eternal Tome, will only be invincible for 1 more second. After that, it can be targeted and destroyed by any of the defense. And also another change, any troop that is outside of the radius at the time where you use the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome and they go inside of the radius whilst the ability is active, they will still get the invincibility effect. So this is an insane rework for the Eternal Tome. It will be a little interesting to see what it will actually do with the meta. It will probably completely destroy Yeti blimps, but the question is it better for most attack strategies, or is it worse for most attack strategies? But I think we'll see that for when the update launches. With that, I would say see you guys soon with the next video. Until then, see ya and bye bye.